Well, good afternoon, folks. Welcome back to my channel. My name's Lee, or Virtual Airline Pilot, back with you again for another scenery review. Where are we? We are in the Pacific Ocean in Polynesia, and this is RAROTONGA Airport in the Cook Islands, November Charlie Romeo Golf. This is a payware scenery from KIWIFLIGHTSIM, and you're looking at version 1.01 for the PC version of Flight Simulator 2020. I believe this also works with the Xbox version. No details available yet as to whether it works for FlightSim 2024, but if it does, I will put details up. And before I go any further, at the end of this video, I'll stay to the end and you will see a scroll showing you the list of airports that so far I've discovered are Flight Simulator 2024 compatible, or with separate free downloads for owners of the payware sceneries. So that comes at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that, and that will give you a look at what sceneries so far I've currently seen that are available for FlightSim 2024, and I'll update that each video as I find out more. So back to RAROTONGA then. It's available from the FlightSim.To shop. Download comes in at 647 meg, and it installs at 1.82 gig. The price, £19.06 UK, which equates to roughly €22.94, or $24.27 US. Now the US and Euro prices are estimates taken from the UK pound, and they include tax or VAT at 20%, which of course could vary depending on where you are when you make your purchase. The only requirement for this to work is that you need World Update 13 from Oceania. So the World Update Oceania needs to be installed, and that should all work fine. Great, so let's look at the features of this scenery. Okay, the key features. We have accurate airport buildings, custom ground markings, 5 detailed interiors, the Mare Moana mural, detailed surrounding buildings, enhanced apron and airport lighting, illuminated custom windsocks, illuminated airport beacon, custom airport ground servicing equipment, or GSE as it's often known, and custom runway textures. Now the keen-eyed amongst you may well have spotted a really nice water mast to the right there. This is a free download separately from FlightSim.To. I'll put the link in the description below. It's a really beautiful water mast. It's not included in the payware product, but it's a free download that, as you can see, just adds a little bit of quality to the area. Okay, let's talk some history. Okay, so history. RAROTONGA International Airport, November Charlie Romeo Golf, also known as Papa Rairangi, is the main public use international airport gateway located in the town and district of Avarua in RAROTONGA in the Cook Islands of Polynesia. The airport is located 1.9 miles or 3 kilometers west of the downtown area on the northern coast. Originally built in 1944, the airport was expanded in the early 1970s and officially opened for jet traffic in January 1974. Because of the proximity of the runways to the nearby roads, it is possible to get very close to the aircraft while they are landing and departing. In July 2015, 3 tourists were badly injured by jet blast after being blown over while watching an Air New Zealand Boeing 777 take off. Consequently, in 2016, the Cook Islands Tourist Corporation warned tourist operators that they should not promote the jet blast area as a tourist attraction. An unsealed airstrip at Nikau was originally constructed by the New Zealand Department of Public Works in 1944, with the first flight landing in November 1945. The New Zealand National Airways Corporation operated twice weekly flights to Fiji, Tonga, Samoa and Aitutaki from 1945 to 1952, and Polynesian Airways operated flights to Apia from 63 to 66. In 1964, the airstrip was extended and a proposal was put forward to seal the runway to allow for jet transport aircraft use. The issue was forced in 1966 when increased regulation of international flights requiring the use of larger aircraft threatened to cut off air travel to the island entirely. Local landowners agreed to expansion, and the New Zealand government agreed to provide funding in exchange for control of airspace rights. Construction began in June 1970 and was completed in 1973. The first jet flight, an Air New Zealand Douglas DC-8, landed in December 1973, with the airport officially being opened in January that year. In 1995, the Cook Islands government took over official control of landing rights, and in 2003, the main terminal, departure and check-in areas were revamped at a cost of $650,000. An $8.5 million reconstruction project commenced in 2009 to revamp and expand the existing terminal facilities, with the new look terminal being officially opened on 22nd of June 2010. Currently 5 airlines operate into and out of the airport, including Air New Zealand, Air Tahiti and Jetstar. So there you go, some history for you. It's been around for a while, certainly since the 1940s, and like many airports, it's had to grow up to international standards in order to maintain its connectivity with the outside world. So let's have a look at this single runway in detail. Okay, so here we are, we've lowered the lighting. It's now 6 PM local time. It's the 30th of November 2024 is the actual date of this video, so it gives you some idea of the timing here. And we're looking down the throat of runway 08. Rarotonga Airport operates a single runway 2608 measuring 7,641 feet or 2,329 meters and is constructed from concrete. The airport lies at an elevation of just 19 feet or 5.7 meters and sits within the GMT UTC minus 10 hours time zone. Now the island does not observe daylight saving time or DST, and with the UK currently back on GMT, the airport remains 10 hours behind the UK. Now we're looking down runway 08 at the moment. Runway 2608, both ends of this runway feature high intensity runway lighting, centerline lighting, runway end identifier lighting system and precision approach path indicators on both sides of the runway. Now looking at the runway, we've got the high intensity lighting, we have the centerline lighting and we've got the PAPIs on both sides. We're missing the runway end identifier lights. There should be 2 white lights flashing here at either side of the runway. And also the keen-eyed amongst you will have noticed a little bit of a mistake on the runway markings here. If we look a little closer, there you can see the developer has put 0088 when it should be just 08, so that needs correcting, and he also needs to add the runway end identifier lights to both ends of the runway. So approach options for runway 08, you have a standard instrument landing system, an RNAV GNSS-Z approach option, an RNAV RNP-Y approach option, and also VOR A and B approach options for this end. So quite a number of options for this end getting into the runway itself. The VOR station there you can see sits on the left, and as we've seen a moment ago, there are no extended approach lights over the water. So let's look at the other end, runway 26. So here we are looking down the throat of runway 26, and again you can see the high intensity lighting, centerline lighting, PAPIs on either side, but again we're missing the runway end identifier lights, the 2 white lights that should be flashing here at the end of the runway, although he's correctly installed the displace threshold and we've got the numbers here that are correct. So it's just the numbers on the other side need to be corrected in the scenery, and the 2 runway end identifier lights, the flashing white lights, need to be added to both ends of the runway. Apart from that, all looks good. Runway 26 approach options, again you have a standard instrument landing system, an RNAV GNSS W, X, Y and Z approach option, and a VOR approach option. So that was runways. There are no jetways at this airport, so let's get down to the airport proper and have a look. Okay, we'll start the video here on the main ramp, which is what you guys are interested in. Here's my Phoenix Airbus A319. So this is stand number 2. My aircraft's parked on stand number 2, which is the domestic parking area and the parking place of small jets. As you can see, the ground Ramp markings are excellent, they're all correctly done. I've spawned directly from the menu, and as you can see, we're not quite on the Airbus A320 stop line. We're close, but no cigar, it's a bit off. But to be honest, it doesn't seem to really matter. There's enough room for the tug to do this, and it looks pretty much looks okay. Let's have a look from the other side. So here we are looking from the other side. As you can see, there's enough room to push this aircraft back and to turn it around. I haven't seen a GSX profile for this airport, but I will look at one. And if there is one, I will put a link in the description below for you to download for those of you who use GSX. But as you can see, it's a lovely little airport, some nice modelling. Again, we've got these amazing, wonderful palm trees. And you've got this little aircraft model here too. So let's get a closer look up at the ramp. So again, looking from the other side here, you can see Airbus A, there are various different markings for the right correction aircraft. The markings are really good. The ramp is great. They've even got the waterway displacement grid here. And here you can see the fuel pump link where the fuel pump comes in. They've got underground fuel. And yeah, it looks good. It really does. And here's a quick look at the Rarotonga aircraft, the static aircraft that's included. Again, a really nice quality model with textures on it as well. It's been nicely textured and weathered. It's really good. Okay, so we'll do a quick tour, starting from the runway 08 end. We've just crossed the fence there, which you can see extends all the way around the airport. Again, there's some lovely foliage here. Buildings are all completely put in and textured and weathered. They look really nice. And here you've got the huge solar array which exists at the airport. And there you've got various cargo containers sitting off the side there. There's the fire station. We've got a single fire truck out there. And you've got the control tower and the main terminal. No people that you can see airside, but I mean, the modelling looks quite nice and it looks pretty detailed. It's very nice. No real complaints. Another hangar there and more various bits of equipment out here. And there to the left is the fuel farm and more vehicles and equipment and buildings sitting out here. Nice little scenery so far. So a little tour landside. Okay, one or two buildings there that are lifting off the ground, but no real issues, no problems as such. I do love these palm trees and the foliage. Air cargo building there, and here we are landside. And again, some nice modelling. This is a really nice scenery, the sort of modelling I would expect actually for a payware product. So far all the vehicles I can see are in their slots, nothing missing, and it looks nice. It's very picturesque. It's just missing a few people out here landside to give it some atmosphere and ambience. But it looks really nice. Very nice indeed. Car rental there to the right. More fuel cylinders over there too. Little petrol station down there. And the road continues there out to the runway. Okay, a couple of close-up shots of some of the things here, some of the detail that we've got. He's got this nice van here at the petrol station. Here you've got the cars outside the car rentals. I mean, the models are okay. They look, I It's hard to describe whether or not they're just untextured or not sort of brilliant models, or whether they're just heavily weathered, which is also a possibility. I mean, you get lots of salt out here. And there's a cafe, one or two little shops down there. And just a quick look back in the other direction. There you got the hedge there to the left, all nicely trimmed and looking really quite neat. So here we are looking landside of the main terminal. As I said, it would have been nice to have some static passengers around. It all looks a bit bare really, but no real problems with the texturing or modelling. It's a lovely little airport. And here we are landside of the control tower. There you can see the fence line as well. And the buildings are nicely weathered, as you can see here. Looks really nice. Let's pop inside the terminal while we're here. So here you've got arrivals, obviously where the baggage reclaim and bags come out, complete with baggage trolleys, conveyors not moving, no baggage on it and no people. But again, modelling is of good quality, no complaints about that. And just a view looking from the other direction there, you can see various hoardings and advertising, which looks pretty good. And there you can see the arrivals hall sort of proper. You've got various seating over the top right, and here is where the passengers would deplane from the aircraft and come through passport or some sort of control here. And just another view for how it looks outside here landside. Let's go into the departures area. Right, so this is marked as international arrivals. So let's have a closer look. So yes, this is obviously arrivals. There you've got an ATM machine and various desks of various airlines. And airline desks there, tour desks, and these look like the exit doors from wherever, from customs or whatever. Okay, and here we've got the separate part of the building for domestic and international departures. So again, let's have a quick look inside. And there you've got two slots of check-in. You've got domestic and international toilets, various advertising hoardings, and this is the landside check-in area. Really nice. Just a quick close-up of some of the check-in desks. All looks pretty good. And again, unfortunately, this is devoid of people. No check-in staff, no passengers. It all looks a little bit ghost townish. But, no complaints about the modelling and the way it's been done. Very nice. And here looking at the domestic gates going out there, and that's interesting. We've got one guy looking through the fence, probably with binoculars or with a camera. I'm wondering if this is the only figure model on the airport. We'll have a look, we'll find out, I guess, at some point along the way. And just a quick look back down the departures hall. So this is the domestic gate. On this end of the building is the baggage claim. Now it says there to the left, Airport Authority, Airport Security Service Access Control Room. I can't see anywhere where security would be. Where you've got the check-in desk we just looked at, you've got the domestic gate. There's no security before you get out onto the airport. Now here's the interior of the building. And again, I can't see where you would go from international check-in out to the airport other than using the domestic gate. And as you can see, only part of this has been modelled. So here's the domestic gate from airside, and as you can see, there's no security check between check-in and coming out through these doors. Now, this is an international airport under the IATA standards. You should have security for both domestic and international. Maybe it's just a case of it's not being modelled, which is fair enough. So here's the arrivals area that we looked at a moment ago. There it is inside here. Here we're looking at it from airside. There's a really nicely modelled cargo lift there. There's the exit doors. Now it says duty free there, so let's pop in and see if we've got anything in here. So here you've got essentially international arrivals, because it's got customs marked up there, and area here for transit passengers. This is where you go out, and here it says entrance, so not really entirely sure how this works out here. That would be passport control, where you go through there and collect your baggage in the arrivals hall here. And you've got duty-free area, so you can actually get duty-free after you've landed before you go through immigration. That's a little bit weird. There's a quick look outside through the windows on the main ramp. And just a quick tour here through the airside road. I mean, it looks nice, it really does. I haven't quite worked out security and arrivals and departures yet, but you know, it just all looks pretty good. It's very impressive. So assuming the aircraft's parked correctly, this is what you see outside of the cockpit during the day. View from the captain's side. And looking across the airport from the first officer's side. A quick look out the passenger's window looking towards the runway. And there we are looking towards the terminal on the left side of the aircraft from the passenger seat. This is the control tower. Again, that looks nicely modelled on the outside. Let's see if there's anything internally. So here's the inside of the control tower. Again, some nice modelling. It all looks perfectly nice, but no controllers. I've also just checked the time. The clock isn't actually following flight simulator time, but yeah, no complaints about that really. And there we are looking out across the airfield. And there's a control tower looking out from landside towards the building itself. So there was a brief view looking during the daytime. Let's bring it down to dusk now and see what the lighting's like. Okay, 6:10 in the evening local time. As I said, it's the 30th of November 2024 when this video was made. And here you can see lighting came on about 5 minutes ago. And it looks nice. The ramp area is well lit. I'm not sure if these are floating globes. We'll have a look in a minute. But the areas are really nicely, subtly lit. It really looks good from here. And there's a view with runway 08 threshold in the distance there, and you've got lights here over the road that goes all the way down there. There's a fire station, has also got lighting, and various hangars and bits and pieces here as well. Here's runway 26 threshold. You've got blue airfield edge lights. There's the centerline lighting. So yeah, not too bad at all. Looks pretty reasonable here. So there's my aircraft parked on stand 2, the domestic stand, and you've got the lighting there inside the terminal, which looks really good. There's another view front of the aircraft. Okay, so here you've got stands providing the lighting, and these little things that I thought might have been asobo globes are actually attached to a wire. So you've got strung lighting here, which is perfectly acceptable. Interior lighting is good, as well as what's on the windows. I mean, this all looks very, very nice indeed. There's a close-up of the terminal here from airside. Again, you can see these lights on the string that goes all the way across here. There's a control tower seen from airside, and again, I mean, that lighting looks nice. And here you get a close-up here. You can see this is actually a bulb. And here, this lighting, it's not exactly parallaxing, but it's been done to a standard that's good enough to make you think it looks real. I quite like this. And again, inside the control tower, you've got roof lighting, and you've got a light there. Now, they're supposed to have the rotating beacon. Let's see if it's there and if it works. So there's the airport beacon on top of the control tower. Okay, it says it's illuminated. In the features it says it's illuminated. It doesn't rotate. So we've got the beacon illuminated, which is fine. Couple of quick shots landside so you can see the lighting. I mean, that looks really quite impressive. So there we're looking at the terminal from landside, and the car park all looks pretty good. Some really good lighting. But here you've got some sort of floating globes. There's one here. Here's a close-up of the parking area where the taxis are. Landside lighting here looks really good. There's the airport sign, but once again you've got the Sobo globes here, the odd floating globes around, which actually isn't too bad. There aren't too many of them and it doesn't really seem to spoil it. Interesting that the airport sign is lit from one side but not the other. And a look across the car park. Oh, it looks really nice. This part of the world, the dusk doesn't last very long. The lighting drops away pretty quickly. Sunset doesn't last long at all. And as you can see, it's fading pretty rapidly. And here's a nice touch you don't see in too many sceneries. Motorcycles, a scooter. Got a scooter there, 2 scooters and 2 motorcycles. There's another look at this arrivals area here, landside from the terminal. And what looks like a little graveyard here, landside. And again, various bits and pieces here, landside views to look at. And there's a high-level overview of the airport here at dusk, just looking towards the runway 08 threshold in the distance. And yeah, it looks nice. Ramp area looks pretty good. This is all really nice. It's a lovely little scenery. Okay, so that was dusk. Let's drop it to night time now. Okay, 10 PM local time, and as you can see, night is upon us and it's really pitch black. But the airport itself from here looks pretty good. Something going on here, I'm not quite sure what's going on here. Runway 08 threshold in the distance there. And runway 26 threshold, and you've got the city or the town in the distance too. So here we are on stand. Perfectly adequate lighting. It really does look pretty good. Taxiway Alpha, and you've got the runway markings there. This is all pretty dark, but you do have the edge lights, so you'll need your landing lights and nose gear light to get you into this part of the ramp. And there's a ramp seen from the runway. Interestingly, no taxiway signage to show you. You've just got to assume that you sort of hit the right area here. But again, your nose gear lights should help you identify the turnoff, even though there are no signs either side of the taxiway, which realistically there should be. Now that's interesting. There to the right you can see the airport light. The beacon actually does rotates during the night, but certainly not during dusk hours. Here's the fire station and the lone fire engine. A little close up of the fire station, various bits and pieces there to the left, and the fire engine's quite good quality as well. Very nice indeed. So there you can see the rotating beacon that's actually working, but if we go to the side of the building, there you can see the shadow of the light rotating on top of the building, which is what we saw from high level a moment ago, and I thought it was maybe some sort of anomaly, but it's actually pretty good. Not really sure why it goes during the night and doesn't operate at dusk, because it's probably needed at dusk as well. Once again, a couple of shots landside here to show you what's going on. Here you can see the floating globe we looked at earlier. There's one or two of them down there. And there's the tower and the terminal complex looking from landside. And there's a shot of the arrivals area here. Inside here also you can see well lit. And some of the cars. It's great. Really no complaints at all. It's a very nice modelling. It's a nice little product. And then we are looking further towards the east. You've got the landside road here. Here's this little, it certainly looks like a little cemetery. And again, some various floating globes here. And the rest of the terminal and car park. All looks pretty impressive. Here's the view from the flight deck at night time, looking out towards the threshold of 26 there in the distance. Part of the terminal to the left there. And a view from the captain's window. And for a change, just a view outside of the passenger's window on the starboard side with the runway in the distance. And there's an overview of the main ramp airside. Here you can see the taxiway. You've got your two signs here denoting the two parking areas. This is the international parking for the larger jets, although you can park an A320 here, and here is for the domestic end. Okay, so here we are. If I'm in the right position now, we'll bring the dawn up and see what the buildings look like. Okay, 5:15 in the morning local time, sun's coming up slightly behind me and you can see the glow on the buildings. But yeah, it looks pretty nice. Actually, there's the sun coming up. It's really hard to judge it. We'll have to remember we're in the southern hemisphere. But there's the sun coming up behind the hills. And there's a slightly better view there with the sun coming up behind us. Okay, 7 AM local time, and here we are, slightly higher view, and you can see the water mask and looking at the airport. Time to wrap up this review and give you my thoughts. Personally, let me say right off the bat, I do like this airport. It's really nice. The water mask also makes it look really good. It's going to be a wonderful place to fly into. I think this is on my world tour list. If it isn't, I might certainly add it. The quality of modelling is good. You can't complain. For a payware product, it's what I would expect. Lots of texturing and weathering going on, and they've really made an attempt for this airport to blend in and to add quite a lot to make it look really nice. What don't I like about it? Okay, it's missing ambience. It's another ghost town. I literally found just one person looking through the side of the fence. There's no passengers, no staff. It's a bit of a ghost town, and to be honest, now with the quality of sceneries the way they're going now, you kind of need this. These people models they don't hit the frame rate that much anymore, even in 2020, and so there are plenty available for use, freeware and otherware, that you could use to really bring this airport to life a bit. And to be honest, that's what makes me think it's probably not quite worth £19 or $25. It's probably worth nearer $20, probably 17 or 16. The modelling is good and the airport looks nice, but it's missing a lot. We're missing the runway and identify lighting system at both ends of the runway. You've got a texture anomaly at runway 08 with the numbers. I mean, these are easily corrected, so maybe he'll update the version. But if this was updated, if the runway issues were corrected and some people were added, you know, it's that would make it pretty much worth the price. At the moment, you've got many airports that look really good and that are really usable with people for this price, and some of them are even less. That would make it look better if these were added. It's still a nice airport. It's not a big download, and it certainly brings this part of the world to life, and a wonderful place to fly in. As I said, I don't know if there's a GSX profile. I'll have a look. If there is, I'll put details in the description below, so you can have a look at that. But yeah, my overall opinion is I like the airport a lot. I'm not sure it's worth the price it's being stated at, even though that includes tax at 20%. As I said, I'd like to see some people here to bring this airport to life a bit more. Correct the 08 numbering here at the other end, and put the runway end identifier, the two white flashing lights at both ends, and you've got the NAVAIDS and the runways all complete and correct as per the charts. Would I recommend it? Yes, I would. It's going to be up to you whether you want to pay this kind of a price, because as I said, it's great. It's a lovely airport, but it's missing a few things that really would make it much better. But that's just my opinion. You may not agree. Happy to hear from you in the comments to see what you think. But yeah, it's a lovely airport, lots of features. Remember to get the water mask, which is a free download, which will give you this lovely masking effect around the airport. It's beautiful. Again, I'll put the link to that in the description below. Finally, guys, look out at the end of the video. I'm going to be doing a scrolling text which will show you the airports and the developers that so far have listed airports that are freely available either as an upgrade or as a standalone download for Flight Simulator 2024. All of the ones I will list are free, no extra charge. That list will be added to or improved at the end of each video from now on as I find out more, so hopefully that will help you. So thanks for joining me. My name's Lee, your virtual airline pilot. We're getting into December now. I hope you guys are ready for the festive season. I'm fully recovered from the illness I suffered in November, and I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to doing some flying. I'll be going up to Rovaniemi in Finland with my colleague Neil. We'll be doing Flight Together online. Try and get some video of that for you. But yeah, as for the Pacific, this is a lovely scenery. I recommend it. It'll be interesting to see if the developer watches this video and maybe takes on board what I've said and puts the additions in the scenery that I've talked about. That would really make it worth the price. But it's very nice, and I'd recommend it as an airport if you want it. It's great. So thanks for joining me, folks. My name's Lee, and I will see you in the next video. You guys take care. I'll see you soon. Bye bye for now.